All right, here's where you're at. You've got a lot of practice that you've done, or that's the first thing you're going to tackle, is finish up all of these small little parts from lesson 6 and 7 about CSS. And now we're ready to take and apply that into your web page and add certain criteria. So there are a couple things I want you to think about. First thing is there something that you want to add to your web page that you don't know how to do yet? The exception will be images, because that we have to do a lot of talk about copyright and permission. So anything besides images and artwork, what's one thing that you think you don't know how to do yet? And then I want you now to start thinking. I'm not giving you a formal project guide this time necessarily. So I want you to think about, how do I want it to look? What kind of feel do I want to give it? In one of those videos last time from Danny and code.org, she had the exact same web page, excuse me, but had two totally different styles. That gives you a different feeling. So I want you to think about what kind of vibe or feel do I want my web page to have? So first thing that I want you to do is I want you to understand and know what the criteria are. So if you need to, pause the video and get this rubric out. It should say up at the top that it's lesson 7. All right. And here's what you should notice. First column, okay, your HTML. Now, honestly, this is coming as a direct copy and paste from lesson 4. So you should have everything fixed and taken care of. There shouldn't be any pink code. So hopefully that's fine. Next criteria. You need to have 3 or more rule sets in your style sheet. That means maybe you'll have a rule for paragraphs. Maybe I'll have a rule for your H1 headings. Maybe I'll have a rule for your H3 headings, or maybe your UL list, or maybe you have a rule for the entire body because you want a background color. Okay. You have to have, in order to get full points, you need 3 or more of those rules. Next thing has to do with color or background color. 2 or more colors besides black. The default for your type is black. So if you add 2 different colors for your type, like your paragraphs are one color and your H1 headings are one color, or your H1 and your H2 headings are different colors, cool. But I'm looking for 3 colors. You can also use a background color, whether that's just in one specific category or tag, like paragraphs or H1s, or if you use it for the whole body. Okay. And then once you've got that, as long as you have 2 uses of that besides the default black, then I'm having you look at text properties. Now, here are the ones that I have listed on here. Text align, remember, and refer to your notes. That can go left, center, right, or justified, which stretches it out. Text decoration, and if you want to write on here, especially since you have some space here, this is where you can underline something. You can also overline something like that. Okay. Text shadow, I love that one. That's really cool to do, I think, for a title. The other one that I didn't write on here, but it was included, I think, at the end of lesson 6 that you haven't seen before. If you wanted to use letter dash spacing, even though that doesn't start with the word text, I'll include that in this category with the text properties. That would be one you could use as a property in here as well. Okay, so 2 or more on here. Now, you can use the same one. You could use text align and use it in 2 different rule sets. That's okay. Font properties. This would be font family. This is where you're choosing something like cursive or serif or sans serif or monospace or so on. Okay. Font size. Remember, you always put the number like 20 and then you have to have PX with the colon or semicolon. Font style, maybe we haven't used that one much. I don't think it's an example in either lesson 6 or 7. But font style is where you can italicize something. So you make italics. And then font weight, I don't know if we use that one either, but there you can make something bolded. Pop-up menu will show there. So you have lots of choices here, 2 or more of those types of properties, okay? The last thing here, and we did that exercise with Social Sleuth where you were looking at some people's fake social media accounts and things, and we talked about privacy a little bit. So you want to make sure that whatever you have on your webpage, that you are not sharing something that's too personal, that gives away too much personal information about yourself, where you live, just those kind of details. Not good. All right, so that hopefully should be an easy one as well. Total 15 points. Okay, now let's go and just talk about, all right, so really what is in your to-do list today? So here's the first thing. Number 1, make sure that you are caught up. So I'm going to say make sure that lesson 6, the last level, I think that was level 11, make sure that you have those parts done. Okay. That also means in lesson 7, in that one, it was level 1, and there's probably like A through E or something like that. Make sure you have all those done. That's first thing. Second thing, make sure you have your journal. And then in Schoology, I've got one of those quick quiz practice check kind of a things, okay, that I want you can use your notes, absolutely, to help and guide you to see if you can troubleshoot, debug, answer questions, all about cascading style sheets, CSS. Once you have that done, then I want you to go into code.org and now go to lesson 7. You should be on level number 2, and make sure that you have transferred your HTML and copied it and pasted it from lesson number 4. Unless you are going to recreate something totally new. Okay, now you certainly can change and add things. I don't want you to delete stuff though, because I want you to still have at least 3 types of tags in there. You should have paragraph tags, you should have 2 different heading tags, actually, and you should have a list tag still. All that criteria needs to stay the same, okay? All right, then after you get done with making sure that you've got level 2 done, then the next thing is then start programming your CSS. Let me get my little tablet here. I was almost putting my stylus away. Okay, then start your cascading style sheets and start thinking about what you want to do to add stuff to your web page to make it look pretty. Use the rubric here as a guide for the types of criteria you want there. You want color, you want some text properties, you want some font properties, okay? Awesome. Take some time to be creative because you'll have this class period and the next one, and I'll be excited to take a look at them.